Hong Kong is one of the most interesting places I've ever ministered in or visited. Spiritually, politically, socially, geographically, I don't think there's another place on earth that represents such opportunity and yet such unique obstacles to the spreading of the gospel. When two of my dear friends advised me several years ago that they felt called to move to Hong Kong and plant a Streams training center in Hong Kong, I was definitely intrigued. In the spring of 2011, I went to teach the Art of Hearing God course to launch the training center and also to meet a handful of pastors and leaders. I was absolutely amazed to find that there was a core group of churches and ministries that were just waiting for someone to bring biblically based training in the areas of prophetic ministry and the interpretation of dreams, visions, and supernatural events. Hong Kong was under the control of England until 1997, when sovereignty was handed back over to China. But in an effort to keep Hong Kong the global economic and financial hub it had become, China enacted a one-country, two-system form of government, meaning that although Hong Kong is part of China, it would keep the same freedoms it enjoyed while being a province of England. One of those freedoms is the freedom of religion. That freedom is what allows us as ambassadors of Christ the incredible opportunity to spread the gospel to the world's largest population group.
What we've got in Hong Kong is we are like the springboard, we're like the detonator, we're like the the firelighter for that, and we have a very important position where many Christian organizations actually use Hong Kong as a base to actually go into China.
I think there's just something to do with the fact that they're oppressed, that it's not allowed to happen. That means that when they grasp the message, they just take off. They're on fire. It's like wildfire. And it's something to do with that. If you're going to believe it, if you're going to go into the underground church, if you're going to be passionate for God in China, in the mainland, where you're not supposed to be, you've got to really know. You've got to really be sure. So when they get a personal relationship with Jesus, there's no apathy. They're red hot.
The family dynamic of the Chinese also works against the Christian concept of a Father in heaven who loves unconditionally. The Chinese can't grasp this concept because in so many families, love is earned by accomplishments and the outgrowth of material success.
And so when you bring the gospel message to the local Chinese here, there's a real need to emphasize that you don't work for that love, that there's nothing you can do to gain that love or take away that love, but that God loves you freely, that there's grace. And so part of the real message that just needs preaching and emphasizing so much here is the grace of God.
What Streams does for us is that it provides that template, that protocol, that sense, that grounding of what it is to be, a prophetic person and a prophetic church.
We've got some incredibly prophetic people in our church, very gifted with revelatory gifts. And I've been much more encouraged to sort of seek out those gifts. But maybe going forward now, having done this course, much more awake to John Paul's heart.
I've met some that have remarkable gifts. They just don't understand how it works yet, and we can help train them. Not only in prophetic materials, they need to be trained in healings and signs and wonders and the understanding of dreams and visions. Boy, do they dream. And with your help, they can receive this training. I also want to share with you another amazing opportunity for a spiritual harvest in Hong Kong. What you're looking at right now takes place every single Sunday on elevated passageways of downtown Hong Kong. These are the Filipino domestic workers who meet every Sunday to play cards, talk and share their lives with other Filipino workers. Well, these women only get one day off a week, and so they choose to come here and to spend the entire day on these cardboard boxes that they bring with them. Can you imagine this? An Art of Hearing God course, teaching about prophetic ministry, how to draw close to the Father and hear Him, taught to 5,000 Filipino women. So to recap, what's our vision for Streams Hong Kong and our training center there? Number one, equip the churches in Hong Kong with training in prophetic ministry, the interpretation of dreams, and the interpretation of visions, and power evangelism in the street of Hong Kong that will eventually spread to mainland China. Number 2, we want to provide teaching and course materials to these local churches so they can translate that material into Chinese. Cantonese and Mandarin would be the 2 dialects that would be translated into, and to share in these courses in the Chinese language with local churches. Number 3, we want to reach the migrant workers from the Philippines and elsewhere that gather in downtown Hong Kong like sheep without a shepherd. I know, it's a big, big vision. But there's lots of good men and lots of good women who have invested their lives to share Jesus in China. And with your help, we can provide indispensable teaching and training materials to these leaders. Prayerfully, that in turn will transform the largest people group in the world from the inside out. And with your help, we really can make that happen. If you'd like to donate to our Hong Kong Missions Fund, just write Hong Kong in the memo of your check or in the memo of your money order. You can also give to this fund online by simply typing Hong Kong in the comments box at checkout. Thank you in advance for all that you're going to do to help us reach these people, phenomenally gifted, hungry for greater things in God. Thank you in advance for everything you're going to do, and God bless all y'all.